After a video of people dancing with weapons went viral, Rcmp has seized several firearms from a residence in Surrey in British Columbia. The police has still not identified the people in the video. However, social media users have identified the owner as Harjeet Singh Patar. He is considered a close associate of pro-khalistani figure Hardeep Singh Nijjar. As per reports, Rcmp seized several firearms from this property owner. As per reports, a person familiar with Patar said the video was from a pre-wedding ceremony of Patar's son. Shockingly, there have been no arrests made by the Rcmp till now. Now, the question arises, if illegal rifles have been confiscated by Canadian law enforcement forces, why no arrests made till now? Joining us live is Ambassador Bashwati Mukherjee, former diplomat. We also have Rohan Gunaratna, security studies expert, live with us. Sumit Peer, political commentator, also joins us live. Surinder Singh Lali, international affairs expert, is also joining the broadcast. Ambassador Mukherjee, let me begin with you first. Absolutely shocking incident coming to light from Surrey in Canada. A serious seizure of firearms being made. What do you make of it?
Well, Uday, it again shows unfortunately, the double standards followed by the Canadian authorities, that if they have seized so many weapons, assault weapons, which is against Canadian law to have them in your residence, then it seems to me very strange that they have not made a single arrest. Is it because they are soft towards certain kinds of residents in Canada because of the connection of those residents with the present Canadian government? Because it is well known that there is an extremist faction which is marginal in India, which gives substantial political support to the present Canadian government of Mr. Trudeau. So could it be that the Canadian police is soft peddling because of that? Then I would say that for a country and for a prime minister that keeps lecturing us on rule of law and how we should behave and how we should follow international law, then perhaps the time has come, Uday, for you and I and for our panelists here to remind the Canadian government that they should practice what they preach. They should follow their own laws, regardless of their connections with powerful politicians. And if arrests are to be made, they should make those arrests sooner rather than later, because I was reading on social media that this has actually terrorized the neighborhood. It's quite a respectable neighborhood, and there are a lot of women and children and young folks living there, and they're completely terrorized by this incident. And the fact that even if you are dancing at a wedding celebration or whatever they say, there is always the possibility of a firearm going off even accidentally, or hitting a bystander or an outsider. In any case, the issue here is this permissible according to Canadian law? No. That's why the weapons were seized. In that case, what is the corrective action taken against the owners of these assault rifles? The Canadian authorities need to send a reassuring message to the neighborhood, which is terrified, and a reassuring message that Canadian law is the same for all Canadian citizens. That's what they keep telling us. We should remind them of their own obligations to follow their own law. Uday.
All right. Let me, in fact, take that across to Surinder Singh Lali as well. Surinder Lali, the fact is that these are very, very, serious arms. These are not personal weapons. These are complicated and hi-fi arms and ammunition and firearms recovered and rifles. Why no action? Why no arrest till now?
Thank you, Uday. But Uday, if I could take this from the leaves back to the roots, I want to take this back to 1980s, because it was then when this K gang was active, and they had enough intelligence reports given to Trudeau's senior, Pierre Trudeau, and then he took it very lightly. I mean, there were intelligence reports that they were being blasted outside, in the hinterland, and he didn't react. Now, how does it matter to me? Because 329 people, Indians, lost their lives. And not only that, that was a biggest act of any sort of crime, aviation crime before September 11 happened. So for me, it's not as likely as these Johnnies using, guns in Canada, and so most of the guns are banned. They look like Kalashnikovs to me, and they're assault weapons that are being used in a neighborhood. Now, your question is why? Obviously, the administration and the Trudeau government, and that is probably the worst kept secret, is in bed with them. I mean, they have been, doing all sorts of illegal acts, making statements against the Indian state, targeting our diplomats, our embassy, our Air India, and having mock trials outside our embassies. So obviously, this is far more serious than a few guns being pulled out at a wedding function. I don't care what that function is, but my concern is one more deeper one. Allow me just a minute. Because, there seems to be, I've seen photographs of Pattar, Nijjar, and Pannu, which is Sikhs for Justice together. And, that's again the worst kept secret that these Johnnies have been together. And Pannu is on record saying that he has given 133 crore rupees to Aam Aadmi Party, which is the party in power in Punjab, and no secrets for the way Punjab has been in the 80s, it being a border state, Pakistan and China using Pakistan as a proxy. So my concern is far more deeper, because this is an entire chain. This is the rot where it starts from a house in Canada, but it somewhere is connected to what's even happening in Punjab right now. And not to mention, we just have an individual who openly talks about the dismemberment of India, winning an election from jail. And if he gets a bail, he could be sitting in parliament. So for me, this is far more deeper than just a video on social media and the Canadian government, Canadian police, simply sweeping it under the carpet and not booking either a case or even revealing the individuals' names.
Does this then expose their hypocrisy on clamping down on terror, and of course also being serious about issues when India brings it up with them, Sumit P? Does this expose the hypocrisy and does this also expose the reasons why there is inaction even in such cases when glaring proof stares the authorities in the face?
Uday, thank you very much for having me on your show. Couple of points here. First, let's not expect any action from Canada, because these people are a part of the government now. They are in hand in glove with the government. It is because of the Rajneetik Sanrakshan, what we call in Hindi, or the political patronage. That's what we see. Let's try to join the dots. Allow me a minute. 15 days back, Pannu comes and threatens all the Hindus of Canada, leave Canada, otherwise you'll have dire consequences, right? Then he even threatened Chandra Arya. Chandran Arya is an elected Canadian MP of Hindu diaspora. He says, because you're a Hindu, you may be Canadian, but our way of dealing with Canada is different. You don't fit in our scheme of things, you have to leave Canada. Now, exactly 15 days after that, when that Dhamki comes, he has threatened our Prime Minister, our Foreign Affairs Minister, our diplomats, everybody. And 15 days of that, when this happens, what is he talking to you? His group of people who are linked to him are, what Laliji rightly said, they're all closely linked. Now he's showing you the guns. Because it joined the dots. Here I am talking of violence, but I'll say, hey, kya kar lenge yaar? They keep on talking. Now I am showing you AK-47 rifles. I am showing you Kalashnikovs. First of all, no AK-47 Kalashnikov license is licensed or available in Canada. There is no way, I've confirmed it doubly, you can get a license for that. It is 101% illegal weapon. Not even semi-automatic rifles have any provision of getting license in India. So Kalashnikovs and AKs are out of question. Only one country gives license to them. That is Pakistan. Minus Pakistan, there is no other country where you can get a license for an AK-47 or a Kalashnikov. So if they are showing you guns, they are trying to show you, look, we threatened you, now these are the guns. We have the power. They are purposely putting it on social media. They are letting it videographed. They want to send a message out. This is what is happening. Now, with all these things happening, first of all, if there is nothing illegal, what has Canadian police seized? You can only seize something which is illegal. Now, if you seize the things, why don't you come up with a list? Why itne banduk, itne ye? You're not coming up with any list. You're not arrested any person. You're not goddamn even telling the name of the person, because you know somewhere down the line this person is I don't want to use a Hindi word, but is a lackey of Jagmeet Singh. Because Jagmeet Singh uncle naraz ho jayenge. That is why the police is, they have hands cuffed. It's not, police is not competent. Maybe police is competent. I'm not even believing the Canadian intelligence. Canadian intelligence will also know. But the challenge here is of a direct political patronage, direct political lineage. You see, when the terrorism was at peak in Punjab, who created Bhindranwale? Who created Bhindranwale? Now you can blame Bhindranwale for anything. Banaya kisne Bhindranwale ko? We all know who created Bhindranwale. And then after the carnage happened. The challenge is here now, and exactly Canadians are creating these Johnnies who are ultimately going to be a trouble for them and are going to be trouble for the Indian diaspora and even the Sikhs of Canada who don't agree to the K factor. And let's not forget there's a K2 desk in Pakistan, K for Khalistan, K for Kashmir. Few hundred people get bread and butter working for this. They're every day trying to support Khalistanis. They're every day trying to dismantle you in Kashmir or through Khalistan, whichever way they work. They do it for a living. Third point. Now, there is one ISI agent, Tariq Rao. I think Tariq Rao is the name. Tariq Rao is an ISI agent. After Nigel's killing, he was involved in all the protests by K group. Right? Now, yesterday, Tariq Rao was attacked in Surrey, same place by some unknown men. He was set to fire. He survived. And there is one Kiani. There is one his name is Rahat Rao, is the ISI agent, and there is Tariq Kiani. Tariq Kiani is a member parliament of Canada, and Tariq Kiani and Rahat Rao are known to have links with all these elements. So that is how the Pakistani angle comes in. All the Pakistani intel, all the Pakistani weapons, all the Pakistani money, the conduit or the jo unka epicenter hai, through where all the router is this Kiani, Pakistani-based Canadian politician. And now you have this Rahat Rao, who is the Pakistan ISI agent who was involved in all the protests. Somebody set him on fire, but he survived. So if you join the things and then these guns, Pakistan angle, Pannu ki damki, leave Canada. Now I'm showing you the guns. Do you think these people are idiots? They will show guns in the public. They want to send a message because they have given the message. What is the idea? Idea is goli chalai bina goli wala kaam ho jaye. Don't need to fire a bullet if the fright stands in. Today, a lot of people from Canada, diaspora is talking about, is Canada safe for us? Sir, can we live here? Is something going to go wrong? I hope and pray nothing goes wrong, but when guns are being seen and the government is even complicit and not goddamn doing anything, naam batane mein yaar inki matlab aisi taisi ho rahi hai. And what and is I cannot imagine a situation. Imagine, Uday, there in my place, somebody comes and finds these AK-47s or Kalashnikovs. Will police come and seize the weapons and leave me? What makes me so special? What is so great about me? Why my name cannot come out? Why are you seizing something which is legal? And these are not these pistols and revolvers. I am talking of AK-47s and Kalashnikovs, the most efficient rifle humanity has made. How did the rifles arrive in Canada? How did they arrive in Surrey? And what is this man doing with this? And don't tell me he's an electrician. Last time Canadians told us Niger with a gun was a plumber. Now this Johnny with a gun must be an electrician. So are you telling me that plumbers and electricians in Canada carry AK-47s and Kalashnikovs and we are idiots? Sorry to say that. To believe your story and say, nahi, bhai, ye to bichare Sharif log hai. It was just a shadi. They took out a few Kalashnikovs and AK-47s. They were just showing off and, doing that a bit of a Hawaii fire. Though all that is not allowed in Canada. So there are a lot of questions which Canadian government should be answering because, in my opinion, they are not only perpetrating terror, they are also financing terror. They are also letting weapons come into Canada and these Johnnies get the weapons. Niger went to training to Pakistan. Niger was doing training in remote parts of Canada, training his men. At least in these videos, we have seen 5 to 10 people with AK-47s. Is this not a security threat for Canadians or for the Indian diaspora? Is this not a conspiracy against India? And if these people are Canadian citizens, what is stopping Justin Trudeau from arresting them? Why they are not put in a National Security Act of Canada behind the bars? What do you mean by you have seized the weapons and you are not even giving the details? This is the compulsion of the police. And Uday, if they would have not hit the social media, which was a part of this strategy, I'm very sure Canadian police would have not even touched them. Bola re yaar chodo kya karna, upar saab naraz ho jayenge. Let's face it, it's political patronage, and this is a worrying sign because now it's not only terror sympathizers, terror financing, it is also the money and the weapons which have reached Canada. And Laliji makes a compelling point. Now, the same Pannu says, I have funded Aam Aadmi Party. Now, what is the linkage? Where is the political lineage coming in? Are we waiting for one more disaster to happen? Are we waiting for one more trouble to brew? Are we waiting for people to get killed? We have few more 100 people dead. Devil will come on TV and discuss, bhai, ye kaise ho gaya? I mean, there are enough signs on the board. And what is this Canada's loci to be a G7 country? How are they preaching us on Niger? How are they lecturing the world? Why are we not calling them out in every forum and saying, what are these gun-carrying AK-47 guys doing in Canada? This is not legal as per Canadian law. And why is Jastinder Singh Trudeau, क्या नाम उसका Justin Trudeau, why is he silent on this? क्या हो गया भाई उसको? क्या सांप सूंघ गया? मतलब when he is jumping like a frog on teen shed on every allegation on a newspaper report, when you have guns in your country, US citizens are carrying AK-47s and Kalashnikovs, you are silent. Height of hypocrisy.
Absolutely. Well, it is clear hypocrisy, as I said earlier. But Ron Gunaratha, let me quickly bring you in here. don't the Canadians realize that this could be a security threat for them too? Why are they not seized of the situation? Don't they realize if they raise snakes in their backyard, those snakes could end up biting them too? What explains this, this hypocrisy, these double standards, Rohan Ratna?
The Canadian government has a very well structured security and intelligence capability. In fact, the focus of the Canadian government on the Sikh community and various other diaspora and migrant groups that do propaganda, procurement, fundraising, training, various activities have significantly increased. So Rcmp has a national security team. CSIS, the Canadian Security and Intelligence Service, they are also very alert. So I want to share with you that after the Air India flight 182 incident, where 329 passengers died, were killed, because Babar Khalsa International itself was created in Canada, because I investigated this group. It was not created in Punjab or in India. The very organization was born in Canada. Since then, the Canadians have monitored these organizations very closely. But unfortunately, the Canadian political establishment is such that it is very much dependent on the Sikh vote. And a significant percentage of the Sikh community has been politicized and radicalized by these extremist organizations. So my personal request to my Indian colleagues and to my Canadian colleagues is that without fighting each other, both of you all must speak to each other. You must engage each other, not only at a political level, at a diplomatic level, but mostly at a law enforcement and intelligence level. It is correct that a very important terrorist, Hajar, was killed in Canada. And I think that past is past. But what is important is for there to be a joint counterterrorism working group between India and Canada so that incidents like that does not happen. But events that lead up to such incidents will prompt the Canadians to take action, because Canada itself realized the threat to Canada. You must never think that Canadian Security and Intelligence Services and Rcmp, the law enforcement organization, is neglecting this threat. At a political level, yes, because politicians always depend on the support of the diaspora and migrant communities. But the way forward is not for India to bash Canada or Canada to bash India, but to work on this issue at the political, at the diplomatic, at the law enforcement, and at the intelligence level. Finally, the most important thing is that even after this incident took place in Canada, we have seen there is significant evidence that has emerged that there is a very well-structured Sikh terrorist network or Khalistani terrorist network in Canada. So I personally believe that rather than making this a media match, a shouting match, very emotional match, that we should all calm down and we should all work together, because whatever threat that takes place in Canada will affect India. Whatever threat that is there in India will affect Canada. Like the Air India flight 182. For those who cannot remember, because I remember this incident very clearly, it killed 329 people, of which 268 were Canadian citizens, 27 British citizens, and only 24 were Indian citizens. Of course, many of those Canadian citizens were of Indian heritage. But I want to tell you that as quickly as possible, the Indians and the Canadians at a government level, at multiple levels, should start to exchange personnel, have a common database, do joint training, joint operations, share experience, expertise, resources, and technology to take down these networks. Thank you very much.
All right, let me take that straight across back. Yes, Surinder Lali wants to come back in. Go ahead.
I wanted to say something also.
I'll come to you in a second, Ambassador Mukherjee. Yes, Surinder Lal.
I think Mr. Rohn makes a fantastic point, and I really appreciate his argument, but unfortunately, he's only about 42 years late because Senior Trudeau called Rajiv Gandhi and was expressing condolences for the Air India crash, not to mention there were 268 Canadians in that flight. So if anything, it should have been the other way. So that explains the mindset where there were enough intelligence reports and they did not react. And even now, I mean, Pannu says that he wants to blow up Air India. Air India is a Star Alliance Airlines. It has 23 or 24 other airlines associated with it, which includes Singapore, Thai, and even United Airlines. So even then, they're conveniently quiet. Otherwise, Sumoto, he should have been picked up and put in for questioning. So I feel Mr. Rohn makes a fantastic point, but a lot of water has flown under the bridge. And I fully support Chandra Arya as an MP because I am not willing to take chances with the kind of threats these K elements have been issuing and the way they've been vandalizing our Hindu temples. So I think we cannot wait for this moral summoning to happen. Somewhere someone needs to get up and smell the coffee and take action against these kind of fringe rogue who Canada seems to be nourishing under the bogey of free speech. Thank you, Uday.
All right. Yes, Ambassador Mukherjee.
I just wanted to say that when I address these issues in television, I do it without passion or emotion. I'm a professional diplomat. In my perspective, it is the Canadians who are responsible for this situation. They know exactly what they need to do, and they cannot do it because of their internal political compulsion. If Canada is to engage with India in a responsible manner on this issue, and I think that's a great idea, there will have to be a change of government in Ottawa so that whichever is the ruling dispensation there is not propped up by a small marginalized Khalistani party that is blackmailing mainstream Canadians to go an anti-Indian way and is doing great damage to a long, steadfast, rock-steady bilateral relationship. I speak with no emotion. I would say that the fact that the perpetrator of those who brought down the Air India flight were allowed to go free, although Canadian investigators nailed them down, is itself demonstrative of the travesty of justice of the Canadian system. Why should we share intelligence with Canadian authorities when the Canadian intelligence have their hands tied behind their back? We will share intelligence when they are in a position with the necessary political support to do something about the intelligence we give them. And finally, I would say that our interlocutor, whom I respect, said that this should be before the situation happens, that what happens in Canada will do damage to India. I would respond to that by saying, what is happening in Canada will damage Canada first, will damage Canada fundamentally, will result in Canada going into fragmentation, may result in a Khalistan in Surrey or Vancouver. That is what will happen in Canada. Nothing is going to happen in India. We know how to handle our affairs, and these are not people who count in India. It is the Canadians who need to smell the coffee and to understand that their great country, built over so many decades on the principle of equality and justice and on the principle of equality for all, those principles of Canada are being shattered because of the obstinacy of one man, Trudeau, to cling to power regardless of its implications for Canadian values and cling to power with the support of a tiny, minuscule minority who can do no damage to the great country that I belong to. That is Bharat, that is India, but can greatly damage Canada and Canadian values. Thank you, Uday.
All right. Yes, Sumit, I'll leave the last word with you.
Uday, as far as emotion is concerned or passion is concerned, I carry my heart on my sleeve, and it has been 5,000 plus TV debates so far. So, that is what I am. And when it comes to my country and my countrymen, I'll be equally passionate. We are not stink ducks. We don't want Indians to be slaughtered. We don't want Indians to be killed. I and you don't want to come on a TV and moan कि भाई इतने लोग मर गए. So we are trying to raise our concerns well in time. And if somebody in Canada thinks that Indians are stink ducks and you can go away with Indians, a few hundred Indians will die, that might be true for Pakistanis or somebody. I don't want to bring any other name because I don't think there can be any country which can be demeaned more than Pakistan. That might be true for Pakistanis, but Indians, it will not happen. And it is our daitva, it is our duty to raise the concern and raise it at the top of our voices and let the people hear that we are goddamn concerned. You are talking of people of Indian origin, you are talking of Indians, and let's not associate these Khalistanis with Sikhs because they are even 1% of the Canadian Sikhs. They are, these Sikhs and Khalistanis are two different things. They are Khalistani terrorists. They have nothing to do with Sikhs. I'm even telling you, people like Jagmeet Singh and others, they might be very important to Justin Trudeau. Bhai, Jamai Babu honge wahan ke. But here, they are only disguised as Sikhs. They are not Sikhs. Agar Sikh hote to ye kaam karte hi nahi. They are disguised as Sikhs. They are using Sikhism. They are trying to divide the Hindu and Sikh community. They are trying to ferment trouble for India. Pakistan is working with them. Pakistan is supporting them. Pakistan is giving them money. And we are expected to be keeping silent. And we have given dossiers after dossiers. What have you done? What has Canada done on the ground? Referendum after referendum happens. How many people have you arrested? Our embassies get vandalized. Our temples get vandalized. How many people have you been able to arrest? How many people you have been able to put behind the bars? And how many people got, unko saza mili aaj tak? Nobody. Have you been able to prevent the attack? Again, I said, I don't blame the Canadian intelligence, Canadian police. They are competent. Every police and intelligence is competent. But what to do if their hands tied by their back? If they have to take orders from Jagmeet Singh to act or not to act? And just Theodore will say, bhai, ye Jagmeet Singh batayenge isme kya karna hai. This is our problem. And we as Indians have every right to raise this concern. And I agree with Ambassador ma'am. These people might be jo wahan hai. Bhai, here we handle such characters every day. And if they are in UP, आप जानते हैं यूपी में तो बुलेट ट्रेन चलती है. We would have settled them long back. We don't tolerate this shit here. Sorry, Uday, I'm not using a very professional word for long time. For Canadians, it might be Jamai Babu honge aapke, keep them. But we don't carry this. Yes. We don't carry.
Rohan, will they finally wake up and smell the coffee? Do we expect action to be taken or not in this particular case?
I believe that Canada is aware of the threat.
Right.
I also believe that after the events that took place that brought a significant dispute between India and Canada, the Canadians are much more aware of this threat. Not only the Canadians, but the Americans are aware of this threat because what the Khalistani network we are seeing is a Western-wide network, US, Europe, Japan, and other countries. So I personally would say that it is so important for both the governments to work together to
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.